So there are many warning signs of a child who's bullied. The child may suddenly be worried or angry or moody, and this is specifically for parents. For children who are typically in a good mood and nice and caring, if you see this drastic personality change, you may want to ask if there's any bullying. The child may have physical complaints, so they suddenly um, have a headache or a stomach ache when it's time to go to school. They may withdraw from certain friends, so you may notice that your child doesn't want to hang with Johnny anymore, or your child isn't best friends with Alice anymore, and you know that they used to be best friends in fourth grade and fifth grade, and now in the sixth grade, when you bring up Alice's name, your daughter's like, that's time, time to ask a question. Also, nightmares, and that's due to the trauma of being bullied. It is very traumatic. And then declining grades is another warning sign of bullying that can be very detrimental to the child's future. So one excellent question is, why do kids bully in the first place? And that's a question that I had when I was going through bullying as a kid in junior high school. I just didn't have the answers that made sense to me. So based on the research that I did, one reason that kids bully is just because of jealousy. Um, when I was going through my bullying experiences, and I told my family members, they said, well, these girls might be jealous of you. Well, I didn't quite understand it because, one, they said I thought I was cute, but I didn't think I was cute at all. In fact, I didn't think my hair was right. I didn't think my skin looked right. I wore braces. So I felt pretty awkward as a ninth grader. And the last thing that I thought was that I was cute. I was just trying to kind of compete with everyone else in terms of hairstyles and clothes and things of that nature. But even though it didn't make sense to me, jealousy is a valid answer, because some kids may see a student and have a perception that their life is better than their own. So, with perceptions and misconceptions, that can lead to what the kids say is hating or hating on someone, and bullying can occur. Some kids bully to make themselves popular. And unfortunately, when we think of the ideal popular person, we're thinking of someone who's nice, someone who does sports, someone who's a good student, just a good all around student. Well, unfortunately, there are situations where the kids who are most popular are the ones who fight, the ones who get in trouble, and the ones who cause the most trouble in the school. And some kids, in order to fit in, are bullying kids just so they can be popular, just so they can feel tough and powerful. Some kids bully because they're bullied themselves. And aside from them being possibly being bullied in school or in their neighborhood, they may be abused at home. And as the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. And it's not an excuse, but it's a reason why some kids are very aggressive and come to school and try to find someone to take their frustration out on. Another reason kids bully is to escape their own problems. And this is, a kid who may have some psychological problems because they find escape and they find enjoyment in tormenting and hurting others. So that those are some of the reasons, but I would like to add power. And that kind of goes into feeling popular and feeling tough. Some kids really get a high off of the imbalance of power that bullying provides. When you're able to bully someone, you feel powerful. And typically, when kids want to bully someone, when they choose to bully someone, they're choosing someone who they feel is weaker than they are. Either someone who is physically smaller, or someone who they feel is mentally less powerful, or someone who has less power economically, someone who's less popular. But there's something about the child that they think is weaker, and they could be completely wrong about that, but Again, that's just something to think about if you have a child who's being bullied, if you have a student who's being bullied, or if you are a child yourself, a student who's being bullied. Look at that power imbalance and see what that might be, so that you can address that in the future. Lastly, what can schools do to reduce bullying? Schools need to understand that bullying comes in many forms and it's all hurtful. Some schools may just focus on the physical, overt bullying and think that the relational bullying or the cyberbullying really isn't a big deal because they can't see it. Well, that's not the move for schools. In fact, they're missing out on some very hurtful behaviors that could traumatize children. So schools need to understand the bullying comes in different forms. Also, schools need to not ignore bullying. Studies show that the influential, affluent students tend to get away with bullying more than the students who are considered of a low social economic status, or students who are unpopular. So you can't ignore bullying, even if it comes from the star of the football team, or the star of the basketball team, or the child of the real estate developer who's a millionaire. You have to deal with bullying from everyone and treat everyone equally. Understand that bullying happens in every school. There is not a school on this earth that does not have some sort of bullying activity. Some people tend to think, well, it doesn't happen in my school. I have this is a private school, or this is an influential school, or this is a school that is in a rich community. Bullying happens at every school. So school leaders, school teachers need to get real and realize that this is a problem that's across the board. I'm sure the teachers and the administrators of Columbine didn't think that their school had a bullying problem until Columbine happened. And after Columbine happened in 1999, schools started to become more aware of bullying problems. So it's best to be proactive and to understand that there's some bullying going on somewhere, and to try to be proactive and try to reduce it. Bullying should be discussed with school leaders, teachers, and mental health staff in meetings. So researchers state that when school personnel get together, school staff get together and discuss bullying, not test scores and bullying, but just bullying, that will reduce the bullying in the school. So in these discussions, you have to discuss who are the bullies, who is being bullied, how are they being bullied, and what can we do to end it. And there are many things that can be done. There's restorative justice, which is done in many of the DC public schools. I don't recommend sitting the children down and showing them movies like Bully, or anything that is going to show a child being bullied, because research shows that showing children movies or showing them examples of bullying does not work. It doesn't reduce bullying. In fact, some children actually get enjoyment out of watching other kids getting bullied on movies or other media that's shown in school. And they may not have that reaction at home by themselves, but when they're at school with all their friends, they're, ha ha ha, oh, look at that. Look. It doesn't work. So the best thing to do is to focus on what you want. You want peace in your school, you want friendship, you want kindness. Focus on that instead of focusing on what you don't want, which is bullying. Showing examples of bullying it's not going to reduce the bullying in your school. You have to show examples of kindness, you have to show examples of friendship, you have to show examples of good behavior. So that's the end of my training on being bully proof. And I want to thank you so much for watching this. I hope that you learned a lot from it. I want to ask you to just like, subscribe, and just really just comment on my channel and just pass this on. Thank you so much. And again, this is Dr. Deidre Sorrell of Synergy Wellness Therapeutic Services in Waldorf, Maryland.